Now at 5:30, a rockslide has closed an Eastern Kentucky store indefinitely. We'll have more coming up from the live desk.
Also on WKYT this morning, we're learning more about a young man who died in a crash this weekend in Madison County.
And two former Eastern Kentucky University football players have been sentenced in a robbery case.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. It is now 5:30, and we welcome you to WKYT This Morning on your Monday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. It was a big weekend for the football Wildcats.
A big win, certainly.
Yeah.
First conference win since 2010.
Yeah.
Or, that is a win of a non-ranked team.
Yeah,
Put it that
they
way.
played a great game.
25th ranked Missouri. All right, they did, and we've had some warm weather.
You know, it's been pretty nice. It's about to start feeling like fall, right, Micah?
Yeah, that's exactly right, especially as we track off into the next few days. Today's pretty warm again, just like yesterday, sitting there in the lower 80s by the afternoon. So we'll go from the 60s to the 80s pretty quickly. And we'll also look for that small chance of rain today. When I say small chance, I literally mean maybe a passing shower or two, and that's it. So don't look for a lot of rain today. However, we get into the afternoon, look for those temperatures there, the 80s, and that small chance of rain. Now, 82 is by far the warmest temperature, by about 20 degrees as we track off into later on this work week and off into your weekend. Big shot at cool air coming on in as this front passes on through. I'll show you that, and also when some rain comes on in for virtually everybody in just a few minutes.
Okay, see you then. Here's the latest news now from WKYT.
We are learning more about a young man who was killed in a Madison County crash over the weekend.
We now know that victim of the crash on Tates Creek Road on the outskirts of Richmond was a football player at Eastern Kentucky University. WKYT's Hillary Thornton joins us live now from EKU's campus with more on that. Hillary?
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Just hours after the Colonel football team had a big home win here at Roy Kids Stadium, they learned their teammate, 19-year-old Joseph Kramer, was killed in that crash. According to the athletic department's website, Joey Kramer played defensive line for the Colonels and came to EKU from Archbishop Alter High School in Ohio. Kentucky State Police responded to the crash early Sunday morning after a passerby noticed a car over an embankment on Tates Creek Road in Madison County. Troopers say there was one man inside of the vehicle when they got there, and they believe the crash happened at some point overnight. Police are still working to figure out what caused Kramer to leave the roadway and crash. Now, a tough hit for the Colonel football team, who will certainly take to the field with heavy hearts this week as they are preparing for a big game this coming Saturday against UK at Commonwealth Stadium. Live in Richmond, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Certainly a sad situation there for that team. And new this morning, a rock slide in Eastern Kentucky has closed the store indefinitely.
Jackson police officers tell us rocks slammed into the Walmart there in town, leaving quite a bit of damage. WKYT's Mark Barber is at our live desk with a look at what happened. Mark, when did this all start?
Well, Rebecca, it all started about 5.5 hours ago now. I'll give you the good news first. No one was hurt. As for the bad news, I'll let the pictures do the talking. Take a look. The rock slide pounded this Jackson Walmart around midnight, right as it was closing for the night. As you would imagine, the Breathitt County store is not going to open at 6 a.m. like it normally would. This will likely be a major inconvenience for many people today because Walmart is one of the biggest stores in that small community that has just over 2,000 people. So when could the store reopen? Walmart is bringing in an engineer and a construction crew to inspect the damage, particularly that large 30-foot hole in the building. Those crews will decide when the Walmart will be back open for business. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, police are trying to figure out who fired shots in a Lexington neighborhood over the weekend. Police living on Scottsdale Circle tell us that they heard gunshots late at night and woke up to find bullet holes in their cars and homes. Neighbors say they are thankful no one was hurt with the shots.
First he thought it was fireworks, and then all of a sudden it was just like boom, 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 boom. And he said he told his son and him, they got on the floor and they crawled, and he said he looked out and he seen people hiding behind his house, and he said it was people running, and he said it was just like the Wild West.
Well, police did take a teenager in for questioning, but so far no one has been arrested.
5:34 on WKYT this morning, and new this morning, two former Eastern Kentucky University football players have been sentenced in a robbery case. 21-year-old David Emanuel and 20-year-old Zane Gilmore have been sentenced to 12 years each in prison. That's according to the Richmond Register, and they'll be eligible for parole after about 2.5 years. According to arrest citations, the two went into a Clay Hall dorm room in 2014 with masks and handguns. Police say they threatened those inside and stole several items.
Well, deputies in Carter County are looking for a teenager who has been missing for more than 3 weeks. 15-year-old Savannah Meadows was last seen around 11:30 on the night of September 4th when she went to bed. Meadows is 5'2" and weighs 115 pounds. Deputies say that when Meadows went missing, she had her hair dyed platinum blonde with yellow tips. In Warren County, state police are also looking for a missing teenager. Troopers say 15-year-old Hannah Schutt was last seen leaving her home last week. Schutt is 5'5", 135 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a green hooded sweatshirt. Troopers say she always wears a yellow bracelet on her right wrist.
Fayette Public School Superintendent Manny Calk has an update on his plans for the school district. According to our partners at the Herald-Leader, Calk says he's working on an action plan that he will be unveiling in February. The school board has set aside $600,000 to hire consultants. Those consultants will study programs provided to English language learners, special education, and gifted and talented students. He's also holding meetings with many people in the district, including board members.
Another person is dead after a crash involving a duck boat in Seattle. That brings the death toll from the Thursday crash to 5. The victims were among a group of international students from China who were studying at North Seattle College. The crash happened when the duck boat full of tourists swerved into their bus. The National Transportation Safety Board thinks that axle failure was to blame for the duck boat swerving. The issue was supposed to have been fixed 2 years ago. Very tragic situation. Yeah. It sounds like potentially one that could have been prevented.
It looks like it. It looks like a maintenance issue, at least the early evidence.
Yeah, well, President Barack Obama will be speaking at the United Nations today. On Sunday, he spoke to world leaders about poverty.
Today, the president will be discussing a range of global issues before the UN General Assembly. On the sidelines, he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Hannah Daniels has the report on that from the United Nations.
President Obama urged world leaders Sunday to join the U.S. in helping combat poverty and world hunger.
It is a lack of development when people have no education and no jobs and no hope that helps fuel so much of the tensions and conflict and instability in our world.
Today, the president will turn his attention to other pressing international issues, including the crisis in Syria. Russia has recently angered the U.S. by sending troops, supplies, and weapons to the country. Some U.S. intelligence analysts believe the weapons could be used to attack rebel forces supported by the U.S. Ahead of his trip to New York, Putin discussed his strategy for Syria with 60 Minutes' Charlie Rose.
There's no other solution to the Syrian crisis than strengthening the effective government structures and rendering them help in fighting terrorism.
Putin is expected to lay out new proposals to resolve the conflict in Syria when he addresses the UN today, for the first time in a decade. He'll meet with President Obama on the sidelines of the General Assembly as the two leaders try to find common ground on the issue. Hannah Daniels for CBS News at the United Nations.
And on Tuesday, President Obama will be meeting face-to-face with Cuban President Raul Castro on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. As we mentioned, Russian leader Vladimir Putin appeared on 60 Minutes last night with Charlie Rose. Putin didn't just discuss Syria with Rose, he also talked about Russia's military and Russia's view on being a world power. When asked about his viewpoint on Russia's importance in the international landscape, Putin said he has a lot of pride in his country.
But your pride in Russia means that you would like to see Russia play a bigger role in the world, and this is just one example.
Это не является нашей самоцелью. Well, it's not the goal in itself. I'm proud of Russia, that's true, and we have something to be proud of. But we do not have any obsession with being a superpower in the international arena.
But you are, in part, a major power because of the nuclear weapons you have. You are a force to be reckoned with.
Ну, надеюсь.
Я надеюсь, иначе зачем же?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. Otherwise, why do we have nuclear weapons at all?
Putin also discussed his popularity with Rose, saying it stems from his and his citizens' quote, love for the motherland.
It was a heartwarming reunion for a man and his dog this weekend. The Wolfe County Rescue Squad helped recover the dog after hikers spotted him on a cliff Friday night. Crews say the poor pup had been there for about a week. The dog's owner posted on Facebook thanking the rescue squad for reuniting him with his best four-legged friend. A whole week, and that dog was all right. And what a reunited situation there. So happy for them. Well, technically, they're not allowed to line up until Wednesday, but that's not stopping dozens of Big Blue fans from already lining up for Big Blue Madness tickets. Big Blue Madness will be October 16th, and tickets will be doled out starting Friday. Many are already lining up at Memorial Coliseum for those prize tickets. Fans say the long wait is well worth it, as long as everyone stays agreeable, of course, no fighting. They tell us they're also hoping for no rain during the week.
Everybody gets along with everybody until it comes time to go get spots for the tent. And then you're one up, and then it's one for all and all for one.
And then once they're up, everybody's a big family again.
Campus safety authorities asking fans to make sure not to bring any generators, propane tanks, grills, or alcohol as they camp out, because those things can, you know, sometimes prove a little bit dangerous.
Right, and good luck with that rain situation, because we may have some showers through the week. So
yeah, they're taking a big gamble.
Yeah, they are, but you know,
having fun doing it. That's what matters.
Those are the real diehard fans, right? And they're already up over there. 5:41 is the time on WKYT this morning, as we'll check live drive traffic for you and see how things are flowing along bright and early on this Monday. Here is our Waze app right now, not showing many problems out on the roads.
We have one closure to alert you to starting at 9 this morning. The left lane of northbound I-75 at the Clays Ferry Bridge will be closed. Crews will be working on cleaning drains in that lane. The closure will last until 3 o'clock.
All right, again, northbound there around the Clays Ferry Bridge. Everybody keep that one in mind if you have travel plans this afternoon. A lot more news coming up on WKYT this morning. This man wants to make a beer syrup, the new boozy breakfast standard. I'll tell you about the beer syrup company after weather.
Have a little rain for today. It's not really widespread whatsoever. That actually takes you into tomorrow. Tomorrow's your best chance of rain. I'll get right into that forecast with those cooler temperatures. Up next.